Let's go. So, yeah, I just read this book. I've been reading this book called Becoming Supernatural, and I can't remember what the author's name is right now. I think it's Rich or something, but I'll plug him in a later video. But yeah, it's been pretty dope so far. Like, basically, the gist of what I just read was like, that atoms are, you know, make up molecules, and molecules make up chemicals, and chemicals make up cells, or like, and basically how we are beings of light, made out of light energy, right? And so, like, matter is like the most condensed form of energy or light, you know and in a way, to get like little a little spiritual about it, is like, okay, so we're trapped in these bodies, but what we're made out of literally is light, and this light carries information. It is made out of information. It's the same thing that our DNA is made out of, and everything like that, so uh, you know so he talks about these meditations, and one of them is like on elevated emotions, like, again, meditating, all it really is just sitting there and breathing and focusing on your breath. If you're going to say you're focusing on anything, but really the mind, you don't even really want to be in the external at all, but the way that you can, how he tries to say it, pull the mind out of the body, right? Like, to these to this more and more spirit, like this more and more light type of wavelength, right? So, we use radios, we use cell phones all the time, and those, you can't see those frequencies with your, like, with your eye, but but they're there though, and they're like literal, frequencies that are transmitted, and that we as crazy human beings have been able to put together. So what it's trying to say is, like, by doing these meditations and by elevating these chakras, because what he's trying to say is each chakra has like a mind of its own, and again, like, the lowest root chakra, like, basically your reproductive organs, that has the lowest frequency. And then you get all the way up to like the throat chakra, and then you get to the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, you know and then there's even above you as well, and so you're like, it's called like a torrent. You're like emitting this energy that is just like spiraling. And once your chakras are aligned and you have this energy, then you're going to be giving off this force field. This force field is what is in communication with life, relationships you have, and this is where the real magic comes into play. Is like, okay, so now we're plugged in, and we realize that our body, like our spinal cord, is like basically, a power cord that is like giving off this electromagnetic field, this currency, you know which is just like some basic science that we're starting to understand now. Like, and we all know this. You get feelings, you get like gut feelings. We literally talk about these chakras, like, oh, you have a gut feeling. Like, no, that's your natal chakra. That's like, your belly button, basically, like maybe right below your belly button. But these, and they're associated with different emotions and things like that. So one of these practices is to have these elevated emotions, you know, um, through your practice. You set an intention when you start to like go into these meditations. And again, what is meditation? It's not like it changes. It's not like it's been upgraded since Buddha or Jesus or any of these other people were doing it. It's still the same. all it is just sitting and being and breathing. And if there was a mantra, that mantra is the breath, and you focus on that. And then, and that's all that it is. So, but you know, he's trying to talk about like having elevated emotions, like feeling joy. Like, okay, so this is, I am who I am today. Who do I want to be in a month from now? You know, whoever that person is, you know, I have to, what type of like, you know, emotions would be associated with that person? Gratefulness, compassion, strength, you know, all these things. Like all these emotions that are real because we all know they're real. We all feel them. So, you know, it's a pretty dope book. You know, like me and Vinny, we're training martial arts. We're, you know, like my fucking collarbone like hurts. Okay, like we're really going at it. And we're building the body. Like I'm taking six plus supplements a day, you know, like, I mean, majority of them, like you take 3 glucosamine, you know, you do like, or whatever, you know, it's like, you know, but I've been like, you build the body all this much. I was just talking with this guy that I work with, this Brazilian dude, you know, and he's real swole. And he does like capoeira and all this other stuff. But he was just talking about it like, yeah, you got to eat so much. He was like, I eat so much food. Like I see him with like plates, like multiple plates of food every night, you know. And he works out probably 6 times a week. He's lifting and doing like capoeira and doing like all this other shit. But he told me he was like, you know, half his body weight that he is now. Like he put on mass weight, and he's like, yeah, he's like, I'm just eating like mass food. I'm only working on certain muscle groups at a time. And this is like basic shit that we know. And it's different when you know, and then when you really put it into play. That's what I'm saying. When you really like apply science, when you really apply technique, and in the form of drilling, in a form of repetition over and over, and then it just becomes who you are. And then you get that future self that you were trying to get in a month from now, you know. You are that person. You know, you have now realized that potential. And that's what this shit is all about. That's what it's really all about. That's what magic is all about. So that's what we're doing here. You want to become something, you want to attract a certain something, you gotta give that energy out, emit that energy. Like, and what this book is talking about, like, I'm gonna start doing more of these meditations, and you know, because I'm already, you know, in jiu-jitsu, there's a certain amount of meditating. You only can be focused on like singular tasks, you know. And I want to explain a little bit more about this science real quick, like delta and gamma and beta and alpha waves, you know, wavelengths, you know, like the perennial philosophy, like A Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. He's a great writer. Like, it talks about different people and how they're programmed. Like, these are the alpha people, these are the beta people, these are the delta people, and they're fine with who they are because, like, they're programmed that way. Like, they're literally, like, brainwashed that way, you know? So they have no problem. They're like, yeah, I'm a delta. Being a delta might not be the greatest, but at least I can do this. Or, oh, I'm a beta, and, you know, a beta is better than most. But but it's not quite an alpha, you know. But I'm better than most, but I'm not quite an alpha, you know. And they're stuck in these things, not alpha, you know. And so this is, you know, but nobody's really has any harm done to them because they don't, like, they're so programmed that they don't even realize that they're hurting anymore. That's what's so crazy about that book, A Brave New World, you know. But, you know, that's the science behind this. Like, there's these different wavelengths, you know. It goes up and it comes down. We all learn this in school. It goes up and it comes down. That's a one wavelength. And so these gamma waves, you know, are like way, way closer to, you know, together. Like, there is barely any visible wavelength, you know. and then it just becomes like radiated energy. And that to me is what spirit is. And once you can start getting into this field of like literally just being here, you know, in that moment, then that's when you can start to tap these potentials, and where you can start to like lasso your goals and your dreams and get closer to them and pull them closer to you. You know, that's just what it is. That's just what it is. So yeah, it's pretty dope. Pretty dope book. It's called Becoming Supernatural. Yeah, these subtle energies, central and peripheral nervous system. You know, because that's what we're dealing with. Like, that's communicating before I even like go for a single leg or throw a punch. You know, like that's what's communicating. And then even while I'm doing that, you know, so it's like having extra sense, like, you know, of being even more aware, even more there, because your mind isn't like on the wrong things. That to me is how we can elevate, you know. So that's what's up. That's what fucks up. Merry Christmas.